Mary, thanks for coming to New Orleans. My question is about Passion Fish. First off, what was the artistic process like with John Sayles, and also what did you take away from being in America's Cajun Heartland?
First question, John Sayles was the first film director I ever worked with in a film called McDonnell. I don't know if any of you have seen it. Clearly. What?
Of course we have.
You did? Hey, how do you do?
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, I know. You know, I kind of thought you did too, but I didn't want to make a mistake. McDonnell. That's where I met John Sayles. Where are you? Who asked me the question? There you are. That's where I met John. I was cast in McDonnell, and it was my first movie. And I thought they were all going to be like that. So that was the hardest part, was moving on from McDonnell. John Sayles is a genius. He's a genius. He understands the story he's telling, the way he's going to shoot it, what he needs out of it, the simplicity of it. You know, almost before there's a word on the page. So by the time I got to Passion Fish with him, I already had a deep and profound trust, and the way I found out about Passion Fish was I was attending a play in New York, and we were going, and John was there, David Strathairn, who I've been in many projects with, was in the play. So we were going to see it in an intermission. John leaned over to me and he says, I think I got another movie for you. And I said, oh, great. He goes, yeah, it's a fantastic part. I said, really? He goes, yeah, it's this really, really bitter paraplegic actress. I said, whoa, sounds like a great role. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I'm writing you a great role. And May Alice was probably one of the greatest roles I've ever played, because her pain was profound, physically and mentally. And the preparation for it required me to spend a lot of time prepping with some really wonderful people in Los Angeles who were paraplegics and who functioned beautifully in the world. And they taught me so much about physical disability that I didn't have a clue about. It was very humbling, and I stopped being afraid of it. And I think anything that teaches you not to be afraid of anybody's situation in life is a real gift, because that is the only thing that's separating us from each other is fear. And I stopped being afraid in Passion Fish of, you know how sometimes when we see people who are struggling with something and we may not get close to them, or we may not say anything because we feel fear, but we don't know why. And so that was the real gift to me. I stopped being afraid of understanding, appreciating, knowing, and imagining myself as a disabled person. That was a real gift to me. So that was the best part.
Who was number one again? You were? You're two.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, I thought you were a great First Lady and stay.
Thank you. Short-lived.
And I hope you come back next month to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, because it's gonna be totally awesome.
You know, I would love to come back from Mardi Gras. How do you say it? Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. I love it. But I think I'm going to be shooting Major Crimes. But I don't know, maybe I'll sneak back.
My question is, what was your favorite role that you played throughout your career? I'm sure you have many, but...
Because I've been so lucky, I do have many. And I can't really answer, because every time I go back and look at something or I think about something, like today I've been signing these scripts from plays I've done, and looking, wonderful women have come with books that have all of my theater history in them and things like that, and I think, oh, that was the greatest role. I thought, oh no, that was the greatest role. And that was the greatest role. I would have to say, though, the only way to separate them is to kind of talk and think about the whole environment, the whole situation, not just the role. And I would have to say on film, my most extraordinary all-around experience was Dances with Wolves. And part of that was having to learn to speak Lakota. Was just it was crazy, you know, it was so exciting. Having to learn to ride horses bareback, that wasn't so exciting. I was so scared that I would hold on to the horse's mane when we were supposed to go, and then, of course, none of the men were scared, so they would go, and I would be back there. So my second day, they renamed me Dust in Her Face. And as many of you probably know, if you are Native American, you earn your real name. So Dust in Her Face was my name. It was not Stands with Fist. That was just the pretend part. I would say on stage, my very favorite role, and I was just reminded of it recently, because I saw someone do a radio reading of the same play, was Nora in A Doll's House. And I knew it was one of my favorites because as I was sitting in the reading, the actress playing the role started to speak. And I, as many of you know, I have terrible memory. Names, forget it. I don't know where my lines go, but once I'm done, they're gone. But as I sat in the dark and she started to play Nora, I remembered every single word. This little compartment in my brain opened up and that character came flooding out. And I went, wow, she's still there. So those are my two faves, I think, so far.